So today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about our special motorised roller blinds that we're offering. This one here is our battery operated system. Comes with two motors. You can either have the slightly smaller, slightly lighter weight motor, which is for smaller blinds, or the slightly more torquey. Torque is the twist. Slightly more torquey motor, which is a little bit bigger and goes into the bigger blinds. All of ours are battery operated in this particular system, and they're all wire free as well. So just press the button and away they go. You've got everything that you associate normally with a Reynolds blind included in here, so it's all made to measure, and you've got a huge selection of fabrics. This particular one, we've fitted it with our special fascia at the top, which I think is really, really important when it comes to electric roller blinds, because it hides all the motors so you don't see anything. Inside here, behind here, is a roller tube, and inside that roller tube we have got a motor, we have got the battery pack, and we've got the radio receiver, all hidden. Very neat and tidy. It doesn't matter whether you're looking from the inside or the outside. It's a very neat installation. On the end here, you won't quite be able to see it, but you've got a USB plug, same one that many Samsung phones and many other devices use now. So use your phone charger. You can charge this with your phone. Lifetime of the battery in terms of in between charges, around about 6 months. Sometimes you get a little bit longer, sometimes you get a little bit less, but generally we're finding most customers are telling us 6 months. And other features that you've got, it automatically limits, and what that means is that you just press the button and it wanders down and it stops on its own. And this one also, you can see, has got the slow stop on it, which I think is a really nice feature. Options for you, you've got single channel remote control, we've got a multi-channel remote control that can control lots of blinds at the same time, we've got a wall switch option, and we've also got apps as well now. We've got a hub and an app which allows you to control them from your phone. Maybe a little bit first world problems, but you can set timers, and our timers are great because they'll actually track sunrise and sunset. So if you would take, say, at this time of year, you might want your blinds closing maybe at 4 o'clock in the evening, whereas in the summer you might not want them closing until 8 o'clock. The app looks after all of that for you. So we're going to have a little bit of a look at how you program this blind and how you adjust this blind, and let's let's sort of get you as enthusiastic about this product as we are. This is the motor. It's hidden behind the fascia and you can't actually see it in the video, but the important points are that there is the USB charging point. This here is the LED light. That lights up green when the motor is fully charged and it flashes red when you need to charge it. That button there, that is called the P1 button. Super important, we'll be mentioning that later on in the video, but that's the P1 button. And here is the antennae. This is where the radio is received from. You can tuck it up out of the way, but please, whatever you do, don't cut it because the motor won't be able to work. Controlling the blind, and indeed programming the blind, comes from the handset. There's various ones available. This is a single channel one. What is important is the back, behind the battery cover. If you take the battery cover off, you'll see the P2 button. This is super important as we'll be using this a lot. The blind needs to be paired to a handset if it is in factory mode. Often this is done for you by the factory, but if it isn't, press and hold the P1 button until the blind shunts, and then take your handset and press and hold the stop button until the blind shunts twice. That handset and motor are now paired. Again, this is only a setting for when you're in factory mode, but it could be that the motor, depends on which side you put it into, operates the blind in the incorrect direction. If this is the case, like it is in this particular video, press and hold up and down together until the blind shunts, and that there is the direction of the blind reversed. But as I said, this will only happen if you are in factory reset mode. Adding the travel limits to a motor is simple. Adjust the top limit to where you want it and press and hold stop and up together. until the motor jogs. And that there is the top limit set. Then move the blind down. It's in a jog mode at the moment, so if you press the button it will jog, if you hold the button it will run. Run the blind down to where you want to, stop it, adjust it if you need to with the up and down keys, and then when you're happy press stop and down together, and that sets the bottom limit. Once the limits are set, the blind will go back into the full run mode, so it'll be out of jog mode, and the blind will run up to the top limit and it will stop itself automatically for you. A great feature of these blinds is the mid position. If you have a preferred position anywhere between fully open and fully closed, maybe it offers you great shade or privacy, you can stop the blind there, press the P2 button, followed by the stop button twice, and that position is now saved. Anywhere in between fully open and fully closed, you can press and hold the stop button for around about 2 seconds, and the blind will now travel to that mid position and it will stop itself automatically. If you have decided that you want a different position, or maybe you haven't quite got it correctly, reverse the procedure. Pressing P2 followed by stop twice will delete the position, and then you can move the blind to the new position that you want to set, and then again just go P2 followed by stop followed by stop. Jog mode. Normally a blind will run just by pressing the up button or the down button and it'll continually run. Jog mode is entered by pressing and holding up and down together until the blind shunts, and then pressing and holding the stop button until the blind shunts again. This gives you precise control over the blind because you can inch it up and down with the up and down button, or you can press and hold the up button or the down button and the blind will continually run. This is important if you maybe have a day and night blind, or if you were using this motor with Venetian blinds and wanted precise control. However, it's often seen as a fault by customers as they think it's incorrect. So to get that out of the mode, you press and hold up and down together until the motor jogs. You hold the stop button until the motor jogs, and now you're back into the standard run, or latched run as we actually call it, where when you press the button once the motor will travel for you. Another function of the battery operated blind that we have is the speed regulator. This can alter the speed that the blind runs in stages. So if you wanted the blind to run a little slower, for example, maybe in a day-night blind and you want a bit more accurate control, you press the P2 button on the back of the remote, followed by the down button twice. As you can see in the video, this makes the blind run a little slower. Lower stages, and once you have reached the bottom stage, it won't adjust any further. That is as slow as the blind will go. If you want the blind to go faster, you do the reverse. So you press the P2 button followed by the up button twice, and this again will incrementally increase the speed of the blind, making it run quicker. A great function that these motors have is the slow stop. We think this looks lovely, and the way that you would turn the slow stop on is you would get the blind to maximum speed, you would use the P2 button followed by the up button twice, and you would hear the long beep that you just heard in the video, and that has turned on the slow stop function. The only reason we could really think that you wouldn't want to use slow stop is if you're using a mixture of battery operated and mains operated blinds. Slow stop isn't available on mains operated, so you might want to disable the feature on the battery blinds. To do this, you would do the reverse and you would use P2 followed by down twice to put the blind to its full speed, but turning off the slow stop function. Adding an additional handset to a blind is very straightforward. Take an existing handset that operates the blind, press the P2 button twice. Take the handset that you wish to add, press the P2 button once, you will see the blind jogs, and now you've got two handsets operating the same blind. To remove a handset that is already paired to a blind, simply take the handset that you wish to retain. So in this case, we're taking the single channel, pressing the P2 button again twice, pressing the P2 button on the handset we wish to remove, and now this has stopped it from working. However, it still means the original one still operates the blind for you. You may have a customer who's lost or damaged a remote control, so it's very difficult to add a new one. Or is it? Just simply press the P1 button on the motor head until the motor jogs once. Take your new remote control, press and hold the stop button until the motor jogs twice. And there you go, new handset all added, blind operating as normal. The radio lock function is very useful if you've got multiple blinds to program and you don't want to get them confused. To turn the radio off, simply press the P1 button and hold it until you have two shunts on the motor. You'll hear two beeps. That's disabled the radio remote now, so you cannot operate the blind. To reinstate the blind, press and hold the P1 button on the motor head until the motor runs, and that switches the radio back on and gives you full control of the blind again. To reverse the direction of travel of a motor without having to completely reset it to factory mode, you can use the P1 button, which is on the head of the motor. If you press and hold the button for 3 shunts. There's the first, there's the second, and there's the third. You'll hear 3 beeps, and the motor direction is reversed. This could be useful if, for instance, you've got a blind that is back rolled and you want to convert it to front roll without deleting all of the handsets and anything else. To change the direction again, press and hold the P1 button on the motor head. There's shunt 1, shunt 2, shunt 3, you'll hear the 3 beeps again, and that again has reversed the motor direction, so it's now correct. Sometimes you might want to just start again, delete everything, transmitters, limits, mid positions. To do this, press and hold the P1 button on the motor head for 4 shunts. 1, 2, that was the third, this one's the fourth. You'll hear now 4 beeps, and that has completely wiped everything. You are back in factory mode and can start again. The handset has a wall mount bracket. It's got a small magnet hidden in the back of it. You can operate the blind and hang it nicely on the wall. We do also have a range of handsets that you can choose from. The single channel is shown on the left, the multi-channel is the one in the middle, and the wall switch is on the right. The multi-channel can be used to control many different blinds, or from a single handset. Up to 15 channels, or selected by using the left and right buttons at the bottom. Now, of course, 15 channels is great, but what happens if you only say want 5 or 6 or 10. If you hold the two buttons together at the bottom, the letter C comes into the display. Keep holding, and that will then give you the numbers. Scroll down to whatever, say in this case 5, and press the stop button. As soon as you release now, you will only be left with 5 channels showing, as you can see. To change this, if you want to add additional blinds, just do the same procedure. Hold the two buttons together, select how many you want, press the stop button, and that has now selected all 15 back again for you. So there you have it. What we consider to be probably the best battery operated blind on the market. Great features, easy setting, compatible with the app. You have any queries, you have any questions, anything like that, don't hesitate. Give us a call, pop in and see us, drop us an email, whichever works for you.